You've been told to strive, to hustle, to run harder, faster, longer, until one day you catch the life you've been dreaming of. But here's the truth. Chasing always creates distance. Every step you take in pursuit reinforces the belief that you don't yet have it, that you are separate from it, that it lives somewhere beyond you. The paradox is cruel and beautiful at the same time, because the harder you chase, the further away you feel. This is not just philosophy, it's physics. In the double-slit experiment, we learn that observation collapses a wave of infinite possibilities into a single outcome. When you chase, you are observing lack. You are watching the gap between yourself and your desire. And that act of observation, subtle, unconscious, habitual, collapses your reality into more distance, more longing, more running. Imagine two people longing for love. One chases desperately, clinging to every potential partner, reading into every silence, fearing every rejection. Their energy vibrates at, "I am not enough." The other takes a different path. They cultivate wholeness within, moving through life as if love is already present in their frequency. One repels, the other resonates. Same desire, different state, same wave, collapsed into two very different realities. You have been taught to believe that life rewards effort alone, that if you just chase harder, the doors will open. But the universe does not respond to exhaustion. It responds to frequency. It does not bend to frantic motion, it bends to coherent resonance. This is why the chase feels endless, because it was never about running after something outside of you. It was always about tuning inward, shifting the observer that you are. Think of the nervous system. When it lives in survival, the body is wired for fight or flight. You chase because you feel unsafe. You run because you believe that peace, abundance, love, everything you long for, lives out there, on the other side of effort. But when you begin to regulate the nervous system, when you anchor into safety in the present moment, something miraculous happens. The chase ends. Desire no longer feels far away, because it starts to vibrate here, now, within you. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. What you want is not running from you. You are running from yourself. From the stillness that would allow you to finally resonate with what you seek. Every manifestation teacher, from Joe Dispenza to Amit Goswami, points to the same principle. You don't attract what you chase. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined not by the speed of your pursuit, but by the identity you choose to embody in this moment. So pause, breathe, notice the ground beneath your feet. The chase was never real. It was only a story rehearsed by the old self. And in this moment, you can choose differently. You are not here to chase. You are here to resonate. And the moment you stop running, reality stops running from you. What if desire was never meant to be chased, but tuned into like a song already playing? Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, broadcasts a frequency into the field. You are a walking transmitter, a living antenna. The universe doesn't respond to what you beg for. It responds to the signal you embody. Here's the paradox. Desire does not arrive because you grasp for it. It arrives because you resonate with it. Resonance is not pursuit. Resonance is alignment. This is not wishful thinking. It's measurable science. HeartMath Institute has shown that when the heart and brain are in coherence, your electromagnetic field expands and stabilizes. Your body literally becomes a stronger signal. Joe Dispenza describes it simply. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So the real question is not, how do I get my desire? The real question is, what frequency am I living in right now? Think of two people standing in front of the same opportunity. One feels desperate. I hope this works, I need this, or else I'm nothing. Their signal vibrates with lack. The other steps into the same space with quiet assurance. This is already mine in essence, whether this door opens or another does. Their signal radiates sufficiency. Both want the same outcome, but the field bends toward coherence, not desperation. Your nervous system is at the center of this alignment. When it is stuck in survival, fight, flight, freeze, you broadcast fear. Fear says, I am separate. I don't have it yet. It's far away. But when the nervous system relaxes into safety, your heart opens. Gratitude, joy, and calm flow. These emotions carry higher coherence. They broadcast a frequency that matches the future you're calling in. Desire is not random, it's a tuning fork. When you feel it deeply, it's not the universe teasing you. It's showing you a station that already exists, a frequency waiting for you to match it. But here's where most people get stuck. They confuse longing with resonance. Longing says, one day I'll have it. Resonance says, it's already vibrating, here, within me. This is why sleep, meditation, and mindfulness are so powerful. They silence the noise of survival and allow your subconscious to reprogram. In those moments, you stop broadcasting fear and start transmitting coherence. That's when the field listens. That's when reality bends. So pause. Right now. Breathe into your chest. Feel the difference between a body begging for a future and a body resonating with it. Which one do you think the field mirrors back? Here's the truth. Resonance is the magnet. You do not chase the song. You become the instrument that plays it. And the moment you shift from grasping to attuning, desire is no longer something out there. It becomes something you are. Quantum physics revealed something extraordinary. Particles do not exist in a fixed form until they are observed. Until then, they remain waves, pure possibility, infinite potential. The double-slit experiment made this undeniable. When no one watches, light behaves like a wave. But the moment an observer enters, the wave collapses into a particle, solid, defined, measurable. Here's the revelation. The observer is not your passing wish or fleeting thought. The true observer is your identity. It is the self you believe you are. If deep down you see yourself as unworthy, your observation collapses reality into situations that reflect that belief. If unconsciously you believe money is scarce, you collapse experiences of lack. If you carry the identity of someone who is always abandoned, you unknowingly summon the evidence to confirm it. This is not punishment, it's programming. The unconscious mind is the observer behind the curtain. It watches, it filters, it collapses the quantum field into forms that match its story. Think of two people applying for the same job. One walks in thinking, I'm lucky to even get considered. I don't really belong here. Their nervous system is anxious. Their voice trembles. Their frequency broadcasts insecurity. The other walks in anchored in identity. I add value wherever I go. I am already this person in essence. Their presence radiates coherence. Same opportunity, same room. But the field responds differently. Not because one begged harder, but because one observed from a different self. This is why affirmations often fail. If you say, I am abundant, while still observing yourself as broke, your words collapse nothing. The true observer, the identity, within, overrules the script. The shift begins not with chasing different outcomes, but with choosing a different observer. When you shift who you are, you shift what reality shows. Neuroscience echoes this. Hebb's law tells us, neurons that fire together wire together. Every time you repeat a pattern of thought, every time you embody an emotion, you reinforce a neural network that becomes your automatic identity. Over time, this identity becomes the lens, the observer, that collapses possibility into form. But here's the miracle. The brain is plastic, not fixed. Identity is not permanent. The observer can be rewritten. Through meditation, visualization, and emotional rehearsal, you teach your nervous system a new state. You begin to feel what it's like to already be the person who has what you desire. And as you sustain that frequency, the field bends. Possibility collapses into alignment. Reality mirrors the new observer you've chosen to be. So pause and ask yourself, who is the self that's truly observing my life right now? The one who expects struggle, or the one who embodies flow? The one collapsing lack, or the one collapsing abundance? Here's the truth. You don't need to fight the quantum field. You only need to shift the observer within, because the world you see is not outside you. It is you, looking back at yourself. Every thought you have broadcasts a signal, yet it is not the thought alone that shapes reality, it is the emotion woven into it. Thought is the electrical charge. Emotion is the magnetic field. Together, they create the frequency that the quantum responds to. This is why two people can think the same affirmation but live two very different lives. One repeats, "I am abundant," while vibrating with fear, lack, and tension. Their nervous system is incoherent, scattering their signal. Another whispers the same words, but their body radiates gratitude, certainty, and joy. Their signal is steady, coherent, resonant. The field does not respond to language, it responds to frequency. Think of gratitude. Neuroscientist Joe Dispenza often says, gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. When you feel grateful before the evidence appears, you collapse reality into alignment with that feeling. Gratitude tells the field, it is already done. On the other hand, when you dwell in fear or resentment, your energy becomes fragmented, incoherent. You are broadcasting uncertainty, and the field simply mirrors it back. Picture two people losing their job on the same day. One spirals into panic. What if I never find security again? Their body floods with cortisol, their heart rhythm fractures, their mind searches for proof of danger. They unconsciously collapse a reality of struggle. The other feels the fear rise, but then shifts. This is a doorway. I am being redirected towards something greater. They breathe into gratitude, trusting unseen order. Their heart coherence strengthens, their nervous system calms, and within weeks, opportunities appear that align with their higher path. Same event, different emotional frequency, entirely different reality. Science calls this coherence. When your heart and brain rhythms synchronize, your energy field stabilizes. The Institute of Heart Math has shown that emotions like love and appreciation create measurable electromagnetic fields that extend beyond your body. Your state is not private. It is a broadcast into the quantum sea. Here's the truth. Your emotions are not random storms. They are instruments. Each feeling is a frequency, each state a song. Fear whispers one reality, joy calls another, and the field listens without judgment. So what if you treated emotions not as reactions, but as choices? What if, instead of waiting for reality to give you a reason to feel joy, you chose joy now and let reality rearrange itself around you? Because in the quantum it does. Your task is not to suppress negative emotions. It is to notice, to feel, and to shift. To recognize when your signal scatters and gently return to coherence. Each time you do, you tune yourself closer to the reality you've been reaching for. Here's the shift. The field is not testing you, it is echoing you, and the language it understands best is the song of your emotions. So breathe, feel, choose, and let your heart sing the reality you long to live. You cannot step into a new future while dragging the weight of an old identity. The chase belongs to the self you once thought you had to be. The self born from survival, repetition, and scarcity. The one who learned to hustle, to cling, to prove. That self was not wrong. It was necessary. But it was never final. It was only a bridge. Here's the paradox. The version of you that longs for transformation cannot be the same one that arrives there. The frequency of lack cannot walk you into abundance. The frequency of fear cannot escort you into freedom. What you hold on to is what holds on to you. Think of it like this. A radio tuned to an old station cannot pick up a new broadcast, no matter how much it twists the dial. To hear the new song, you must release the static of the old. In quantum terms, you collapse the outdated waveforms, timelines that no longer serve, so the field can reorganize around a truer signal. Consider someone who has always believed, "I am unworthy of love." They carry it like a quiet pulse beneath every interaction. They chase validation, they cling to attention, they perform to be accepted. Yet every attempt to fix themselves only reinforces the identity of lack. The moment they dare to release that old self, not by forcing but by observing it with compassion, space opens. They begin to see, "I was never unworthy. I was simply rehearsing an old story." And suddenly, love begins to appear, not because they chased it, but because they aligned with it. Joe Dispenza teaches, your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality is not your essence, it is your repeated state of being, your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors. If you want a new personal reality, you must be willing to release the old personality, not incrementally, completely. This is why change feels like death, because in a way, it is. You are grieving identities you wore like armor. The achiever who never rested, the skeptic who never trusted, the wounded one who never felt enough. To step into resonance, you must let them dissolve. And yes, it is terrifying. Your nervous system clings to the familiar, even if the familiar hurts. But here's the truth. Letting go does not mean losing. It means creating space for the infinite field to respond. The quantum cannot fill a vessel already overflowing with old stories. Imagine holding a clenched fist. You say you want something new, but your hand is too tight to receive it. The moment you release, space appears. That space is possibility. That space is freedom. Here's the shift. Your new reality does not arrive when you add more effort. Arrives when you subtract what no longer belongs. When you stop performing for survival and start resonating with truth. So release the old self. Thank it for what it taught you, and let it dissolve into the field. Because who you are becoming has been waiting for the moment you finally let go. You've been taught that progress means effort, that movement means control, that success belongs to the one who pushes hardest. But resonance doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. And alignment is born in stillness. Think of the ocean. The waves rise, crash, dissolve. But between them, there is a pause, a quiet. That pause is not empty. It is the very rhythm that makes the ocean possible. Your life carries the same pulse, yet most of the time, you're caught in the waves. Thoughts colliding, emotions spiraling, survival demanding. You forget the sacred pause that holds the key to everything. Quantum physics shows us that the field is probability, pure potential, and the subconscious mind, the hidden observer, interfaces with that field most powerfully when you are not distracted, not forcing, but surrendered. That is why meditation, breathwork, and even the liminal state between sleep and waking are so potent. In those states, your brain waves shift from frantic beta into alpha, from alpha into the dreamy depth of theta. And in theta, the subconscious becomes reprogrammable. In theta, possibility begins to collapse into form. Consider two People lying awake at night, one scrolls endlessly on their phone, chasing dopamine, drowning in overstimulation. Their nervous system is loud and the field reflects chaos. The other closes their eyes, takes a slow breath, and surrenders. Their mind drifts into stillness, rehearsing gratitude, imagining possibility. The next morning, one feels depleted, pulled further from their vision. The other wakes in coherence, magnetizing opportunities they didn't chase. Same night, same body, two entirely different frequencies. This is the paradox. In silence, more happens than in noise. In stillness, more moves than in force. Creation often begins not with action but with surrender. Neuroscience confirms it. The nervous system cannot create while it's in survival mode. When you're bracing, defending, rushing, you're broadcasting incoherence into the field. But the moment you breathe deeply, the moment your heart rate slows, coherence returns. Your signal sharpens. Gratitude, love, peace. These emotions ripple through your electromagnetic field, sending clear instructions into the quantum. Joe Dispenza calls meditation the rehearsal of a new reality. Not because you are begging the universe to change, but because you are rehearsing the frequency of the version of you who already lives it. And the field, which mirrors back your dominant state, begins to respond. So the invitation is this: find the pause between waves. Close your eyes. Notice your breath. Allow the chatter to dissolve. Because here is the truth. Stillness is not empty. Stillness is pregnant with potential. It is the doorway where infinite possibility whispers into form. And when you learn to rest in that silence, you stop chasing creation, and you begin to receive it. You are not waiting for your dream to appear out of nowhere. You are stepping into a frequency that has already been written in the field. The question is not if it exists, but whether you are willing to embody it now. This is where resonance becomes stable, not when you occasionally think of your desire, not when you hope for it desperately, but when you begin to live as though it is already here. Quantum physics reminds us, the observer collapses the wave into the particle. Possibility becomes form when it is consistently observed, consistently felt. Your identity, the you bring into each moment, becomes the stabilizing signal. If you remain the same version of yourself, rehearsing the same doubts, clinging to the same fears, you collapse the same reality again and again. But the moment you shift identity, the moment you begin walking as if, reality reorganizes itself to meet you. Think of two people applying for the same job. One carries the vibration of lack, shoulders slumped, voice hesitant, secretly repeating, "I hope they like me." The other walks in with coherence, posture aligned, eyes alive, radiating the frequency of someone who already belongs there. The qualifications might be identical, but the field responds differently. One embodies scarcity, the other abundance, and the mirror reflects accordingly. This is not pretending. This is alignment. Pretending says, "I don't have it yet, but I'll fake it." Embodiment says, "I already am it and my outer world is catching up." That is the difference between force and resonance. Joe Dispenza teaches that when you rehearse the feeling of your future self, gratitude before the evidence, joy before the result, you install the neural hardware of that identity. The brain cannot distinguish between a memory of the past and a vivid rehearsal of the future. Both are reality to your nervous system, which means when you live in the frequency of the future now, your biology, your energy field, and eventually your circumstances must come into coherence with it. But here's the paradox. Walking as if it's already done requires surrender, not control. It's not about manipulating outcomes. It's about choosing to be the version of you who no longer doubts, who no longer waits, who no longer postpones their wholeness. So how do you sustain alignment in daily life? Start small. Ask, if it were already done, how would I walk into this room? How would I breathe? What would I say yes to? What would I no longer tolerate? The answers will not be grand gestures, they will be subtle shifts. A deeper inhale, a straighter spine, a softer smile. These small embodied choices ripple outward, amplifying your signal to the field. Reality is not a punishment, it is a mirror. And when you walk as if it's already done, that mirror reflects back evidence you can no longer ignore. So step forward, not with the frequency of waiting, not with the identity of lack, but with the knowing that your resonance has already collapsed into form. The future is not ahead of you, it's within you. And the moment you embody it, you realize you were never waiting, you were becoming. What blocks the flow isn't the absence of energy, it's the presence of resistance. You are not weak, you are not unworthy. The truth is simpler, quieter. You are often standing in your own way. Every doubt, every what if it doesn't work, every habit of checking the mirror for proof, these are not neutral thoughts. They are frequencies, and frequencies interfere. Think of the double-slit experiment. When light is unobserved, it spreads out as pure potential, infinite waves of possibility. But the moment you observe with doubt, with expectation of failure, you collapse the wave into a pattern you did not want. Your attention is not passive, it is creative. Fear creates, resistance creates. Every time you ask, why isn't it here yet? You are declaring, it is not here. And reality, being a perfect mirror, agrees. Imagine two people planting seeds. One waters the soil and trusts the process, knowing that the roots are growing where she cannot see. The other digs up the soil every day, checking, doubting, measuring the absence. Which seed thrives? Which seed dies under the weight of impatience? This is resistance at work. Creation suffocated by the constant demand for evidence. Joe Dispenza says that the moment you stop living in the emotions of the past, fear, lack, unworthiness, and begin rehearsing the emotions of the future, resistance dissolves. Because resistance is nothing more than energy tied to old stories. It's the nervous system protecting itself by rehearsing danger that no longer exists. The fear of being judged, the doubt that you'll be chosen, the suspicion that life is against you. These are echoes, not truth. Here's the paradox. You don't overcome resistance by fighting it. That fight is resistance. You dissolve it by shifting attention away from what is missing into what is already resonant. You allow your awareness to rest, not on the absence of the dream, but on the frequency of gratitude, joy, presence. In that moment, resistance collapses. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped feeding it. Think of a time you were so deeply immersed in joy, laughing with friends, absorbed in music, moved by beauty, that for a few minutes you forgot your problems. Notice how, in that moment, resistance wasn't conquered, it was irrelevant. The field was free to respond to your vibration. And often, it is after these states of ease that synchronicities show up, doors open, opportunities appear. Not because you pushed harder, but because you allowed. Resistance collapses when you choose to stop seeking proof and start embodying resonance. When you stop asking, when will it come? And begin saying, it already belongs to me. Reality is not a punishment. It is a reflection. And when the reflection shows lack, it is not evidence against you, it is evidence of resistance. Which means you are always one shift away from alignment, so breathe deeper. Let go of the timeline. Release the need to measure. Trust the roots that grow in silence. Because the truth is this, nothing is holding you back, but the energy you continue to hold on to. And the moment you stop holding, Life rushes in. You were never chasing the thing. You were always becoming the one who no longer needs to chase. Here's the truth most people miss. The journey doesn't end with you attracting something outside of you. It ends with the realization that there is nothing outside of you. You are the signal. You are the field. You are the resonance collapsing into form. The double-slit experiment was never about particles and waves. It was about you. When observed, the wave collapses into a particle. When infused with your consciousness, infinite possibilities condense into reality. You're not standing apart, watching reality unfold. You are reality unfolding. But for most of your life, you were taught to wait, to measure, to hope that something would arrive and prove your worth. You were taught to see yourself as a receiver, not a transmitter. And so you lived as if resonance were something you had to earn, something to attract, something fragile. But what if it was never fragile? What if the thing you seek has always been a reflection of the frequency you already are? Think about music. When two strings vibrate at the same pitch, resonance is automatic. One does not beg the other to respond. It simply does. Because resonance is not negotiation. Resonance is nature. When you embody gratitude, not as a tool, but as a state, you stop using resonance to get something. You realize gratitude itself is the frequency. When you embody love, not as a strategy, but as your essence, you stop trying to attract love. You are love, and reality bends to echo you. A practical example. Two people walk into the same room. One carries the frequency of scarcity, nervous, seeking approval, hoping to be liked. The other carries the frequency of presence, calm, certain, embodying belonging. Who is remembered? Who magnetizes opportunities? Nothing external changed. The room was the same. The difference was resonance embodied. Amit Goswami calls this self-aware universe, not because the cosmos thinks in words, but because consciousness itself is the field. You are not in the field, you are of the field. Which means the moment you stop identifying with lack, the moment you stop chasing what you already are, you step into your true nature, pure resonance. Here's the paradox. You never get what you want by becoming more. You get what you want by remembering you already are. This is why Joe Dispenza says, don't wait for your healing to feel whole, and your healing arrives. The sequence reverses, the mirror reflects. Life does not give you what you wait for, it gives you what you embody, so the journey ends not in grasping, but in resting, not in waiting, but in knowing. You don't attract the future. You walk as it, speak as it, breathe as it. You are the frequency. You are the collapse. You are the resonance life has been echoing back all along. And in that remembrance, you know. Longer ask, when will it come? You smile because you know. It was never coming. It was always you.